Well, you know what that song means, and it means, unfortunately, your Rockwall Yellowjacket season has come to a close, and it was only by an inch Rockwall loses to Sachse in the area on 24-17. That means their season is now officially over. Hello, buddy. Chris Curtis here for the Rockwall Sportscenter Yellowjacket update, and joined by Aurora-less. From last week, you had a Aurora, not one right now. Billy Quinn. Billy, it's a dark glow. Wow, where do we begin? It was a great game. Give Sachse props for the way they came out. Give Rockwall props. Both fan sections were going crazy. Unfortunately, it comes down to the inch-yard line for the Rockwall Yellowjackets. Seems like once again we talk about an inch-yard line, and Rockwall falls short. Man, what went wrong on Saturday afternoon?
Well, I'll say this. 2017, the goal line was not our friend.
No.
How many games did we lose either trying to score on the goal line or stop somebody on the goal line? And I don't remember it going our way at any point this year. It's too bad. But that was one of the most incredible games and atmospheres I've ever been around at Allen Eagle Stadium. That place is massive, and there was a lot of Rockwall orange and a lot of Sachse blue there, and it was great. Both sides are full. The student sections are going crazy. Both teams are giving it everything, and it's what it's all about. And it's tough. It's tough as a Rockwall Yellowjacket fan because there's moments you can put it away. You think you're going to advance, and I think the crucial thing about this game was the one thing that Rockwall's strength all season was fourth down conversions. Well, they didn't make the crucial fourth down conversions in this one, and had their opportunities and just couldn't convert. Near the end, if they make a fourth down conversion, that probably puts the game away, and you can start running clock and make it very difficult for Sachse, who was down by 7 at that time, that if they did end up getting the ball back, it was going to be very little time left and probably no timeout. So it's a tough one, but then it goes to overtime, and as you said, Sachse scores first. One of the rare times, if any, that I remember Rodney Webb winning a coin toss. And so somehow we get this.
And the overtime coin toss, too.
That's what I'm saying. He wins the overtime coin toss. And so, holy cow, momentum is on our side. Yep. And Sachse, and of course we choose to go on defense first, and then Sachse does score. And Rockwall, as you mentioned, you got 4th and goal from about the 3-inch line, and stuffed right there. Gives Sachse credit with the stop on Bailey as he tries to get in. He's running hard and just can't get it across, and that's where the season ends right there. It was very Friday Night Lights from the movie where, the kid gets close but just can't punch it in, and here we are. But I will say, this is as weird as it sounds. You finish the season 6-6. One of the best, if not the best, 6-6 season ever.
Oh, yeah.
Had a ball all the way through it, even through the tough times where you're thinking, okay, well, this ain't our year. We're not going to be in the playoffs. We can't get the breaks. We can't get the win. And then here you are. And getting, a lot of notice once you beat the Woodlands, and you come that far from at least tying it.
That's actually giving them a little too much. I mean, it was even closer. It was a fingernail worth. But like you mentioned, it's tough when you see a 6-6 team that really had a chance to do some damage here in the playoffs. When you look at what's left remaining here in 6A Division I, man, I think that the thing that hurts the most is Rockwall had a really good shot at going pretty far in this playoff run, maybe even further than they did here 2 years ago when they had a really good squad. I think that's when you look at when it's all said and done, that's the most painful thing of all, is knowing you could have been really close to a state championship.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about, and that's, Sachse's very good. I mean, there's a reason they're undefeated, and when it comes down to crunch time, the teams that can close and make the plays should advance, and Sachse did. They made the plays on offense to get that game tied at the end. They made the play on defense to stop it, and you got to give them credit. And they're moving on. I think they're going to go a pretty good distance. Yep, absolutely. The hard thing is when you're a team like Rockwall that we know had all this talent and had a couple games get away from them, and they couldn't get the wins, that if they would have finished higher in the district, that it wouldn't have been this tough to start the playoff rounds. You're going against these teams, and still they almost get through that gauntlet. Like we said, and they wouldn't have won. It was overtime. So they just would have tied it in overtime if the touchdown scored. So you can't say, well, that would have won the game, because you had another series of downs after that, and who knows what happens. So, but at least you would have extended that game, see what happens, and you move on. But man, so proud of this team and these kids that just they just persevere. They don't stop. There's so many times you could have not blamed them for saying this ain't our year, and they just kept coming at you. They kept swinging, and in games, I mean, the way the season started, down 11 to Highland Park with 3 minutes left, and you pull that one out. That started the season, and then you go, and then you have some losses the last second and last plays, and then you get some big wins, and such a roller coaster ride. And I'm not a roller coaster fan, to be honst with you. I don't like.
I thought you were a big roller coaster guy. No,
do not like the roller coaster. So this was tough, but it was. You look back, what a really, really fun season this was. A lot of things accomplished. These seniors, as tough as it is for it to end this way, for the rest of their lives, can look back and say, we did some good stuff. We beat Highland Park and we beat the Woodlands in the same year. Broke Woodlands' winning streak at home, shocked them in the playoffs. Highland Park's only loss this year is to Rockwall, and you gave Sachse a run for the money, the number 4 team in the state, and and good luck to them as they move on, and hopefully they can use that nail biter as a volt to keep moving forward. But anyway, when you look back and look at the whole big picture, so proud of these kids, so proud of the team and the coaching staff and the things that they accomplished in this season when it looked like a couple times that they weren't even going to get to the second season.
Absolutely. And you also want to thank all the seniors for giving their time. A lot of them started when I joined Rockwall ISD about 5 years ago, so I know a lot of them and know what the heart they left on the field. When he went from Cameron Craig to Austin Orgy, Jacob Rather, whole tally, the list goes on and on and on of all these seniors that really played an important role here for Rockwall football. So I mean, them pretty well too, growing up with having Cash around and having them come by. So kind of talk about this class and how much they meant to this program and not only to the program but to the school.
This one was special to me. It was the most personal one, I guess you could say, because a lot of these kids I've known since they've been in elementary school, and like you said, my son is in the same. He's a senior, and I've coached a lot of these kids in baseball, soccer, basketball, and things like that, and we've seen them grow up. They've been around. They've been at the house, been over there, and know these parents very well. And it's just been a ball watching them. I saw, as I was cleaning my office out the other day, my every 2-year office cleaning, and found an old Promise Makers photo of the boys, and there was Austin Orgy and Ben McCrillis and Marshall Hernandez in there, just still big guys in elementary school, but still little compared to what they were, exactly. What they are now. But it was fun to see what they've accomplished and knowing what was ahead of them at that time. So no, it's tough. Justin Childers as a kid, we've watched grow up, and his dad's a very good friend, and a lot of these kids that the ones that played a lot, some that didn't play a lot, but I just feel for them that it's hard to end it this way, but you got to be proud, and I promise all the good things will be like the cream. It comes to the top as you start looking back. And to all the kids out there, I see this all the time on Twitter. I just want to say this: it is tough when your football career is over, but man, there's a lot of good stuff afterwards. Life has a lot of great things ahead of you. It doesn't stop here, and so enjoy it, embrace it, have a good time. But man, there's a ton of good stuff ahead for you,
especially for all these kids. And you look at what the future holds for Rockwall Yellowjacket football. A lot of good stuff is coming back for Rockwall. You're going to start first and foremost with your quarterback. He has one more year here, Mr. Clark does. So we kind of talked about this after the game the other day. Is it could be a quarterback that can go out there now that he has a year of Texas football under his belt. He could go out there and win you 2 or 3 games by himself alone. So it might be that type of year again for Rockwall, and might be a better year next year because Rockwall is going to bring back a lot of young kids, sophomores and juniors that got to see a lot of playing time here in the playoffs and in the regular season. That Rockwall will not be going away anytime soon as far as football goes.
I agree 100%. There's a lot of seasoned sophomores this year that will be coming back. You start, though, with the junior, Jacob Clark, the quarterback. Holy cow. What a great year for him. So happy he's on our side. So happy that we have him because he was everything and more that we had hoped he would be. Pretty much one of the top quarterbacks in the area, hands down. He's the number 2 passer as far as yardage in the area. Number 2 as far as touchdown passes, and what a great leader, what a great decision maker, and incredible athlete to come in here and learn this offense and execute it the way he has with all this talent around him too. That doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And to just lead this team the way he did. So proud of him. So happy to get to talk about all the kids I've known forever, it seems like, and then you get to meet these kids like Jacob coming in and his family and know that they're now part of the Jacket family. And I was joking around with his dad on text after the game and saying, and he's like, "This is a tough loss." I go, "Well, now that you've learned what it's like to be a Jacket now, because every loss is soul crushing. Yep. That's the way we do it now. We don't lose by 30 or anything like that. We take it down to the last second."
You'd almost rather lose by 30 than have these losses. It's been just a wild year as far as that goes.
I've now got a therapist. That's what I've had to do. So anyway, but no, it's a great future ahead for this team. Like we talked about Jacob, but then you sit here and you're going to have Jackson Smith back, one of the best.
Only a junior next year now.
Right. We still got him for a couple more years, and we've watched him for 2 already, and watched just an incredible how much he's improved. And we didn't think you could prove it that much as a freshman. And the amount he improved as a sophomore, I can't imagine what's going to happen for the junior and senior years. Again, this game, he had a really good game in the playoffs, and he's gotten to play alongside Cam Creighton, who's an outstanding receiver in his 3-year career with the Yellowjackets, and so he's learned from him, and he's going to be our guy. And then you got then you go to the sophomores. You have Zach Henry, who's really come on late and been a big part of this at running back. You got the 2 anchor tackles at sophomore, and Fauché and Joyce, and you got Lube that's done an outstanding job, who will be coming back next year, and he'll be on that starting line. And so that offensive line looks like it's in good shape. So as far as the offense goes, pretty good. And then you turn around and look at the defense, and you've had some young kids step up. You've always seen Anthony Orji play well, and he'll be back next year. And then you see kids like Ashworth come up and do well and play safety, and then go in and play at linebacker and do good things. And we do lose some talent on defense as seniors. We're going to lose Blake Barone and Alston Orji and Jacob Rather and Corey Barron and those guys, Ben McCrillis. That's the one side that there's going to be a little bit more of a turnover on the defensive side, because we're losing some leadership and we're losing some talented kids. Their seniors, Tristan Anderson's another one that comes to mind. And so it's going to be a tough one to fill those shoes, but we got some talented kids coming up, and it's going to be I'm excited already about next year. It's not a year that you sit there and say we got to get through it. It's a year now that you're like, okay, we can use this and we can move forward.
And the cool thing about Jackson is we talk about all the great receivers that have come there: Xavier, Sam, and now Cameron. Jackson has a chance to be maybe the best we've ever seen here at Rockwall. So if you're bummed out about what just happened, you still have a lot to look forward to as far as the future holds for Rockwall Yellowjacket football. Well, I guess that's about it for us as far as it goes. There's not much else to talk about. Of course, we will realign here in February for football and, of course, for every other sport. So we'll bring you all that action the day of that happening, and we'll have it here first for you and let you know what happens. We've kind of been researching and looking, and I've been asking by people, a lot of people I know you have too, about what could happen. It looks like we're pretty much going to stay the same. We're going to lose John Tyler, it looks like, but we could stay a 7-team district with just missing them, or potentially maybe add Wiley. So it doesn't look as daunting as maybe some of our local reporters here have put out in the past month as far as moving a little bit south. But hopefully maybe they get us realigned as far as the first round, and we don't have to travel so far. That'd be the nice thing, I hope, if I could talk to the UIL, and I know that some coaches around here wish that the same, and I think it just makes sense for everybody to do that.
Yeah, I think that looks like the way it'll go, because it's funny how our district alignment is always keyed by those East Texas schools. We're at the mercy of what schools are available out there in East Texas, and if there was just going to be one, if it was just going to be Lee, then it was going to be we don't know where we were going to go. But now that it looks like it's going to be Longview and Lee again, they're probably, as you said, they're probably going to keep it that way and maybe add another in there. I enjoy going out to East Texas. The footballs go out there. It's tough on a Tuesday going for a baseball or basketball game, but we'll do it. And I know those schools don't enjoy coming all the way here on those Tuesday night games, but you do it, and it's fun, and and I love those people out in East Texas. It's a great atmosphere in whatever sport you play, and especially football. But no, it looks like it's going to be like that, and these are teams you're familiar with, and it's going to be another very, very tough district if it stays the same, because you already know that Lee will be improving. They'll be better, and Longview's all very good. They're still in the playoffs. They just blew out Jesuit, which was unbelievable, and so they're still advancing. And good luck to them in the playoffs as they continue to carry the 11-6A banner through the state playoffs. And then, of course, you got these Mesquite schools. Horn's going to be good. North Mesquite's all. I mean, they took us down to the wire at that last game of the season. They're going to be improving, and Mesquite is also going to be improving with their coaching staff. And Rockwall Heath, of course, is always right there. They had a nice run and got into the playoffs, and don't think that they'll be doing anything less next year. They'll be right there also. So it's going to be another tough year in district if that's the way it goes. If not. As far as the Yellowjackets go and as far as Rodney Webb goes, if he could, he would schedule the 67 Packers and the 92 Cowboys, if he could, in non-district, just to get this team tuned up. And that's what you saw. That's what I thought was the great thing was that's why a 6-5 team or a 5-5 team can go in and beat the Woodlands is because they weren't the record. As Bill Parcells used to always say, your record is who you are. It didn't seem that way with Rockwall, and they weren't. They go in and they've upset one. They almost upset another. But I do want to say one last thing was very, very proud of the defense for the Jackets as we anticipated a defense like this at the beginning of the year. Took a little time, but they got that thing going. So Coach France and Coach Webb and all that staff did a great job getting that defense ready at the right time. And to hold the Woodlands to 7 points and to hold Sachse down the way they did, the highest scoring offense in the area, is an outstanding job. And, of course, the kids on that offensive side just kept doing what they always do. So I do want to acknowledge them and Coach Brooks and that offense keeping it. Sometimes you take it for granted when the offense keeps scoring the way they do and moving the ball the way they do. And they've had to move some guys around because of injuries and things like that, and they just kept it trucking. So very proud of them, very good season, and can't wait for next year.
Well, I guess that's it. I guess I turn you over to basketball and baseball now. We're excited about that. Of course, Rockwall looks to have very strong teams in basketball this year. And, of course, baseball, we all know how that story goes. Usually we're one of the final 8 teams here in the state of Texas. So lots to look forward to, possibly some championships coming up, hopefully, for both those teams. And district championships, obviously, Rockwall won in basketball last year. So looking for back-to-back district titles. And, of course, Rockwall and Heath go toe-to-toe in baseball. So very excited about that as well. And once again, I want to thank Rockwall Sportscenter for hosting us here all season long. Of course, to Jared, KR, and Kim for allowing us to come in here for our 4th season. Next year, we might change it up just a little bit. We might have a studio next year. It might be kind of nice. I think we're going to take the show over to the Academy for a couple of shows. So pretty excited about that. We'll get that contract worked for you, too, as well.
Am I going to have to wear a tie?
Yes.
We'll talk.
Maybe some chest hair, but we'll see what happens right there. We don't know yet.
I got that.
Jared doesn't want us to go over there yet, but we'll have the nice logo behind us too, so we'll make sure that Rockwall Sports Center is loved as well.
Very nicely well-designed logo.
We'll have a very nice. If we only knew somebody that did logos around here, that'd be tough. But of course, that is it for us here for the Rockwall Sports Center update. We appreciate everybody watching us, following us on Twitter, and of course listening to Cue Ball and the Judge on Sportsgram and Rockwall Eyes and John Bailey.
He's a board trustee.
I know. There you go. He's a board trustee for the games that he did attend, I guess. Right there, you go.
I think he made it to 2, but we got to give him credit.
It counts. We love John as well. But thanks everybody for tuning in to Rockwall Yellowjacket football. Of course, spring ball coming up here in about 6 months or so, 5 months or so. Mm-hmm. We're not counting down or anything yet, and of course, season does open here the start of September once again. So we'll keep you posted on all of that, and have a great Christmas break, everybody, and enjoy the holidays. And any final thoughts of the 2017 Rockwall Yellowjacket football team?
Like we said, it was an incredible year, not the way we expected, but boy, they gave us a lot of thrills and ups and downs, but mostly ups, and that was the fun thing. Even the downs, you knew, well, what are they going to do now? How are we going to overcome this? And you got to watch them overcome things, so that made it even more special. And I want to talk about how excited we are about basketball coming up for both the Lady Jackets. Lady Jackets have already gotten off to a great start, already won a tournament at Flower Mound, and then the boys team looks really good, and they still don't have couple guys that have been playing football that will be moving over to the basketball team and give them even a little bit more firepower. So get out there and watch the basketball teams. Both of them are outstanding, and they're going to do an outstanding job. Of course, you just mentioned Rockwall wins district last year, the boys, and there and the Rockwall and Rockwall Heath games are going to be great because the Hawks are going to have both of them are going to have good basketball teams also, and so those four always they're going to be in it, and then we move on to baseball, and I have to sit around with Coach Talley and watch him be a superstar.
You don't hate that though.
I love it because he is. The paparazzi, the people that come around, everybody that loves them, and they push me out of the way, and they barely let me in the booth, but I'll get in there and make the call and let Tally just bask in all the glory.
Hey, we'll have some of these updates for this year as well for
Good.
baseball too. We'll get Coach Talley involved because he's got a little field named after, a little patch of grass out there named after him. I heard, so
Yep. Yeah,
that's
does.
good for him. We're proud of him as well. So, anyways, thanks again, Coach Webb. Thanks again once again for letting us bug you all season long and putting up, especially with this one. So. Anyways, thanks very much again. We'll see y'all all next year for round 5 of the Rockwall Sportscenter Yellowjacket update. Have a great holiday season, everybody. And don't forget, Jacket Fight never dies. We'll see you next year. Have a great one.